Hello, everybody. Happy Wednesday. Welcome back. How's everyone doing? Okay. I have a question in the chat. What do you think of this snack? 2 cup rolled oats, 1 cup peanut butter, ½ cup honey, 1 cup flax seeds, 1 tea vanilla, 1 tablespoon virgin coconut oil. I even think that if vegan, one could use maple. Honey maple syrup with all the fiber. Would this be an acceptable snack? You take the above and roll into small balls. Not with the honey, not with the maple syrup. That's a sweetener that is going to raise your insulin and turn your fat storage on high. And the oats. Oats not as bad, but definitely the honey, the maple syrup, if we can do without those. I did make a quote unquote cookie for my girls when it was snowing like 2 weeks ago. And it was oats, peanut butter, and raisins. It was super simple. You rolled oats, peanut butter, and raisins together and baked them into like cookies, and they loved them. So the raisins what gave it like just enough sweetness, and the peanut butter like held it together. So if you need like a little treat without added sugar, you could do something like that. You could even add, like you mentioned, I think I saw chia seeds, flax seeds. You could probably add flax seeds in that as well, if you want a little treat. But we are still trying to avoid the sweeteners, if at all possible. All right, here's our agenda. And it's only week 9, and I finally figured out how to get my presentation from moving by itself. Technology. All right, so we've optimized the diet, we incorporated the fasting, we're moving our body, we've talked about our improving our overall well-being through sleep, through reducing stress, through managing our habits. And today we're going to move into, it's kind of a combination of improving our overall well-being, but also creating lasting lifestyle changes. And that's what the last part of our class will be about, are ways to create these changes that can last. And before I tell you what the topic is, in case you haven't seen on the syllabus, let's check in any particular successes. Now, you can give us a success over the past week, or maybe something that has gone well over the past 9 weeks we've been together. Are you seeing any progress? And if so, what are you seeing? How are you feeling? And any other meal ideas, exercise ideas, sleep ideas, anything that you want to give us, you can put in the chat box to help each other out. That's what we're here for. All right, so last week was emotional eating. We talked about homeostatic, hedonic, intentional eating, trying to do a combination of intentional and homeostatic eating so that we're eating when our body needs the energy, but we're being very intentional with what type of energy we are giving our body, and also adjusting our mindset around the times when we are fasting to make sure we have a mindset that's encouraging us in the fasting. So we are our own self-coach most of the time, right? So you only come here once a week for 30 minutes. But the rest of the time, you're on your own and you're talking to yourself. So I want you to continually check in with what messages are you sending to your brain, which you are internalizing and using and telling yourself is true. So any thoughts on your mindset while you're fasting? What you're telling yourself, have you tried to adjust it? Are you catching yourself saying certain things? And are you able to flip the script? So we want to go into the idea of this freedom from eating. It's liberating. We're healing our body. It's creating a system where we don't have as many cravings and more control over our lifestyle. And I hope you are truly experiencing that at this time, 9 weeks in. And then a feasting mindset on the flip side is choosing things that nourish our body, finding things that satisfy us. So everyone loves to eat. We know that. We want to enjoy what we're eating. We want to feel satisfied with what we're eating and also make sure it's doing something good for our body. So finding balance in our eating and our choices and building on those good choices. And I'm going to go a little bit more into that today. And then as far as the emotional side of our mindset, the biggest thing is recognizing that emotions are going on. We may be triggered to want to eat, but is it a matter of being hungry or is it our emotions taking over? So recognizing the need to fulfill what emotions we have inside of us, try to come up with some other options, try other options, see what works, try to choose mindfully, especially if it's going to be food. Let's try to choose mindfully something that's going to be beneficial and actually help us and balance us out instead of send us further on an emotional roller coaster. All right, so we're going to talk about eating anywhere, which is so important because we're not always eating at home. We're not always preparing our own meals. And I want you to be social. I want you to get out and go eat dinner with friends. I want you to enjoy social events. I want you to host them. I want you to be with people. And that typically involves food. So, how can we take this idea, this program, this plan that we've created, and how can we eat anywhere we go? So, talking about choices, I want to talk about compounding effects first, because this is really what's going to help us in our choices when we come up against things like someone bringing cupcakes into the office, someone having a buffet full of food options to choose from, having a menu of options when we go out to eat of food choices to choose from, having people around us ordering certain things. There are a few high leverage disciplines that we can practice every day where it will lead us into compounding these good choices over the long term. Now, we have activities that start to lead towards results, and then they also lead towards this long term effect because it's shaping us into the person that we are and the things that we do automatically. These habits and these choices start to become automatic. They're just what we do, and they help us continue towards our long-term goal of being healthier people. Now, there's another way that we can go with this compounding effect. And I actually heard I was in the doctor's office just the other day, and I heard a nurse outside the door say something like, well, I had cake for breakfast, so there goes my day. I was going to be good today, but there goes my day. And I think that's so true for most of us. Once we make one decision that's off from the plan, we just get thrown into this thought process that the day's gone. There's no point anymore. We already messed it up. And a few errors in judgment can start to be repeated every day. So, for example, someone brings donuts or cupcakes or something into the office, and what is our choice going to be? What is our practice when this happens? Have we come up with a plan? What are we going to do? Because you can either say yes or no to it, and either way, that's going to take you down a path of going towards your goal or going away from your goal. And it's not just someone bringing things into the office. It's did I get up and do my workout today? Did I make it through my fast? Did I get my water in today? Did I get my sleep in last night? All of these things that we do every single day have compounding effects towards reaching our goals. And the more that we stick to the things that help us become healthier people, the easier it's going to get. And then the more that we veer off the plan and say maybe tomorrow, maybe next week, maybe after spring break, the further we get away from getting to our goal. All right. So some high leverage disciplines to take into account when we are eating away from home or eating at an event, a social event. We have Easter coming up, eating at a holiday, all the things. The first step is preparing ahead of time. So try not to go into these places without a plan. And there's a lot of different things that we can consider when we go into eating out or going to a friend's house for dinner or attending a party. But the biggest thing you can do is prepare ahead of time. For example, when you are going out to a restaurant, the best thing you can do for yourself is read the menu before you go. Go ahead and look at the menu and decide, what am I going to get that works for my plan? Because that's so hard to do when you get there and they are setting down the chip basket or they're setting down the bread basket, or your friend or your spouse is ordering the worst thing on the menu that sounds like the best thing on the menu. Going into it already knowing what you're going to get makes it 100 times easier. So know before you go. And if you're going to a friend's house, if you're going to a party or a social event, try to take something with you, something that works for your plan. And one of my favorite things to take to social events or Easter, things like that, is a charcuterie board. So you can do meat and cheese, fruits and veggies, nuts and olives, and all kinds of things that you can pick at and appetize on before the meal and not feel bad at all. Charcuterie board's awesome. If you have any other ideas for holidays, things that you take, let us know in the chat box. Salad is another good go-to for me for holiday events because we live in the South. I don't know where you all are, but in my family, it's like meat and then it's casserole, 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 casserole. So I'll try to throw a salad in at the end of that line. So you can get some meat and you can get some salad, and typically there's like some fruit. So there's like a couple of things that really work, but we want to prioritize the meat, which is typically going to be on the menu. It's going to be at the event. Prioritize the meat. If there's fish, if there's salad, and if there's vegetables. So if you can find those things on the buffet line at the event, if you can find them on your menus at the restaurants, that's where our priority is going. And try to swap the carbs out. So let's say it's a burger. At a restaurant or at a friend's house, they're grilling burgers. You can have a burger. Just leave the bun off. Do the burger and then do some sides with it. So hopefully there's like maybe coleslaw or maybe some baked beans or green beans or some type of vegetable that you can throw on the side with it. Just try it. I found like ever since taking bread out that it almost just gets in the way now. Like it tastes even better without the bread in the way of my sandwich. There's a restaurant I love to go to, and it has a grilled chicken sandwich with like pepper jack cheese and avocado, and it's awesome. I do it without the bun, and then I add a salad on the side. You can always do stuff like that. Swap out the carbs, even if it's a sandwich. You don't have to do the salad. I used to not love salads, but all of a sudden I'm obsessed with salads, so I can't say that anymore. I guess things change in life, but my go-to at a restaurant will be like steak or fish. I'll do steak like once a month, and I'll do fish mostly. I don't like cooking either one of those things, so it's really perfect at restaurants because they're going to do it better. So meat or fish, steak, fish, chicken, and then look at the sides. Just because they've decided that your steak comes with a potato doesn't mean you have to get it. There's quite possibly like cream spinach you could go for, or I don't know, broccoli, salads, all types of other sides on the menu. Look around, and if you're at a nice restaurant and they've like perfectly paired the sides with each protein, you can swap them around. They don't care. It's just a matter of letting them know, and they'll do a little swapperoo in the kitchen, and it's not a big deal. I've never had a server tell me no on swapping things around, and I'm the queen. All right, as far as carbs go, um, funny, the other night my husband and I go out on Sunday night, so that's our date night, and we switch between like sushi or the steak restaurant for him. The girl brought a whole basket of bread out to the table. I was starving, and this is typically what happens when you show up to a restaurant starving. You're immediately gonna grab for the whatever they set down. But luckily, before she set the bread down, I was like, hey, just go ahead and bring me a salad. I'm really hungry. So ordering a side salad as soon as you sit down, Caesar salad, house salad, whatever. Try to get a salad out so that you already have something to keep your hand to mouth busy, and you're not going for the bread in the middle of the table. You're not going for the chips, whatever it is. She came back out like while we were eating our steak, and or when she had brought the steak, and she was like, I guess y'all didn't want the bread. And I was like, you know what? I feel bad about that. Y'all did make it and you brought it out. I should have told you that we weren't going to eat that. So you can say, please hold the bread, but it just depends on the person you're eating a meal with too. And then practice makes perfect. So go into the meal with a goal in mind. So maybe just one particular goal. All right, I'm going to have one glass of wine, or I'm going to skip the dessert, or I'm going to skip the bread and the chips, and I'm going to order a salad instead. I'm going to, I don't know. There's a lot of different ways you can go into eating out at a restaurant or eating at a friend's house. But you can learn something each time that you do and get better and better at it. And I think one of the most important things is always paying attention to how you feel after the meal. So making sure, again, it's satisfying to you and hasn't completely knocked you overboard where you feel terrible, because I've definitely had those meals where I've gone overboard, I feel awful, and I do internalize that. Like, okay, let's not do that next time. I always feel better when I don't do that. And I just stick to things that work for the plan, but are still satisfying because I'm not having to cook, and it typically tastes better than what I cook. All right, another way you can approach eating out is eating in order. So let's say you're at Easter and you got all the casseroles there and you put the meat on your plate, you've gotten some salad, and you're like, but I cannot not have my grandmother's sweet potatoes. That's how I feel. I cannot pass that up because I'm not going to get them again until Thanksgiving, and that's just way too long. So if you have to have the sweet potatoes, if you have to have the corn casserole, whatever it is, do the carb last. So go into it. This is a research study, and this is showing a sandwich. So like they did a study on eating the meat and the veggies off the sandwich first versus eating it with the bread. So the yellow is them eating the sandwich with the bread on. Okay, so you can see how your glucose has shot up and then it comes way down. That's the highs and the lows we feel from carbs. And then you can see where they did the protein and the veggie first. And then, and you can even see they did veggies first too. They did the protein and the veggies first, and then they ate the bread. And you can see how more level the glucose is. So eat in order. Proteins, veggies, fats, all those come first, and then do your carbs last. Even if you're going to have like dessert, have it last. If you're going to have bread or something starchy, have it at the end of the meal after you've prepared your body with the protein, the veggies, and the fats. Just a little tidbit. All right. Another thing I want you to consider, and this is really for like traveling when you're going places, and it can be weekends too, okay? Because weekends are always thrown off. You can think of things in like a red light day, yellow light day, or green light day. Red life is about balance. So we're not going to be fasting all the time. We're not eating all the time either, but we still want to have like some sense of balance in our life. All right, so if it's a red light day, it could look like this, and your red light day may be totally different. I'm just giving you like an idea today to kind of carry forward with you when you're going on vacations or you're going into a long weekend with holidays and things like that. Maybe it's a red light day. Maybe you're eating 3 meals that day and you're eating snacks, and that's totally off for you compared to our normal fasting days. So you're eating meals and you're eating snacks, but we're keeping them healthy, if at all possible. Most of them, if not all of them. And we're eating in order when possible. So we're eating with the protein and the fat first, and then the carbs if we're going to have them. And then we're having no regrets. If you're going to have a red light day where things are off and you're going to have something here and there, maybe you're at a birthday party and you had cake that day, have no regrets. Enjoy it. That's the balance in life that we need. That when we do decide to enjoy things, let's really, really enjoy them. And then yellow light day. So maybe you're like in the middle. You're like, okay, I'm gonna stick to 3 meals today. I'm gonna eat in order. I'm not gonna do the snacks, but I am eating 3 meals today. And I am eating some carbs, but if I'm gonna eat carbs, they're gonna be whole grain carbs. They're gonna be good for me carbs. So someone mentioned oats. That's a whole grain carb. And I'm gonna stick to whole foods. I'm gonna stay hydrated. So maybe that's what a yellow day looks like for you on vacation, over a long weekend. And then maybe you have a couple green light days put in there. I know spring break's coming up, so we don't want every day to be red or yellow. Maybe we can throw in some green light days where we're still fasting for maybe 1 meal. Maybe we're skipping breakfast while we're on vacation and starting with lunch and dinner. We're sticking to the whole foods. Even while we're eating out, we're getting the fish, the chicken, the steak, the veggies. We're drinking lots of water. And maybe we're even going for a walk. Maybe we're getting out and moving our body. So we can balance it on vacation and have a day here that's more like this, a day here that's a little bit better, a day here that might be, okay, this is my day where I'm going to splurge a little bit. So keeping the visual of green, yellow, red in mind so that it doesn't all have to go out the window when we go into long weekends. It doesn't all have to go out the window when we go on vacation or holidays pop up. We don't have to go all in, but we can enjoy life and enjoy balance. All right, so our goals for this week are to continue fasting with the whole foods. Hopefully, you're fasting most days of the week by now. If you're not, I want you to try to work your way up to it. So if you're fasting 5 days, I want you to move to 6. If you're fasting 4 days, I want you to move to 5. Let's at least add one more fasting day on. My goal is for you to get to where you're fasting almost every day. Continue to increase our overall well-being with our sleep habits, with managing our stress, um, with thinking about our emotional well-being, and even finding balance and flexibility when we're eating outside of our normal days and our normal foods. Where can we find balance? Where can we find flexibility and still enjoy life and make it a lasting lifestyle? I have 5 practices for when you are traveling, things to keep in mind as we come up upon this spring season and summer. Try to take your time. We rush 24/7, and if you find that habit spilling over into your travel, slow it down. Take some breaths, stop dead in your tracks, and slow it down. The whole point of getting away from the norm is to relax. Feel each step. So try to stay present wherever you are, with the people you're with the foods you're eating, with the things that you're seeing. Try to stay present. Try to savor the moment. Relax and rest. Set the screen down if possible. Um, Try to get away from the normal day-to-day schedule and deadlines and the news and the overload of information that we're constantly intaking. And try to focus on your emotional well-being and then bounce back. If you completely lost it, things got out of whack, it's totally fine. It's not a big deal. You can always hit reset when you get home if you need to. And then lastly, I'm going to share this dining out. I'll put it in the chat box for you. This is your final takeaway. It's a dining out guide, which is incredible. It has literally everything you need to know. So the basics of eating out at a restaurant, adding healthy fats, choosing drinks, desserts, getting creative, things to do at buffet style restaurants or at a friend's house, at a relative's place. Fast food restaurant ideas are on here. I love this. So it goes through every cuisine. And then at the very bottom, I even found top 11 fast food options that you can choose. And it'll go through the different restaurants and you can find things that work, like grilled nuggets at Chick-fil-A or the Cobb salad. So they'll give you ideas on here, even for fast food. So check that out if you need it. It's a lot of information. So I want to give it to you so you can pick and choose really what you need from that. All right. Any questions, comments, or feedback? Okay, I want to hear some good things. Oh yeah, I'm out on spring break. Speaking of, I'm out on spring break next week. So I will be sending y'all a recording of week 10, and I'll get that to you before the end of the week. So just watch that at your own convenience, and then I'll see you in 2 weeks. Hope y'all have a great rest of your week. Email me if you need anything, and I'll see you in 2 weeks. Bye, everybody.